The obligatory Pete Rose question. Could you put him on the ballot? Without reinstating him as the commissioner, could you put him on the ballot?
Yeah, that is the mix you can't get to. I can't get to, okay? And let me explain what I mean by that. My authority relates to the permanently ineligible list in baseball, which is a functional list, right? In other words, people who go on the permanently ineligible list, we've reached a judgment that they can't be close enough to the game to affect an outcome because of previous involvement with respect to gambling. If I took him off the permanently ineligible list, where he would really go under the Hall of Fame's existing rules is to a Veterans Committee, as I understand it. I can't leave him on the permanently ineligible list and make the Hall of Fame put him on the ballot. It's not within my power. That would be a Hall of Fame decision.
What could you hear now that would change what your predecessors were holding true to?
You know, I'm very open-minded on
Has he paid his penance, though,
topic. Well, you know, I don't see this as it's why I described the list before as functional. It's not a penance question. It's not like I sinned and at some point, you know, that sin is absolved. It is, can you reach the conclusion that it would be okay for Pete Rose to manage a major league club? That's the question you have to answer yourself or ask yourself with respect to the permanently ineligible.
Yeah, but
list.
he doesn't have to hold a job. Like, why can't I put him on the ballot? I wouldn't let Pete hold a job in baseball.
I agree with you, Dan, that there are two very, very different issues. I only have one of them, okay? My issue is, should Pete Rose, if I take him off the permanently ineligible list, somebody could hire him next week, okay, for a job in baseball. That's the issue that I have in front of me. I see that question very different from the question of, you know, should he be considered for the Hall of Fame based on what he did as a player and a manager. I see him as very different issues.
What if the Hall of Fame said we want to put him on the ballot? Because they can act separately from the commissioner.
That's right. You know, I'm a member of the Hall of Fame board. They have every right to make that decision, and has nothing to do with whether he should or shouldn't remain on the permanently ineligible list.
Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Well, I think that I have a policy about questions like that. I think that the writers who have votes on Hall of Fame members do a very good job.
Would you vote for him?
Of deciding whether or not somebody should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, I would have to really think hard about the overall experience that Pete had with baseball, including his performance on the field and all of these other issues, in order to reach a decision on that. I've just never done it. I'm not a voter. I've never really thought about it.
Has he been 100% truthful?
Well, that's a very different. You mean with me?
Yeah.
I have only had a very brief conversation with him at the All-Star game.
Okay.
I haven't met with him yet. You know, so it's difficult for me to answer that question.
Because that would be the big concern I would have if I were the commissioner. That if I'm going to do this for Pete, I need to know, did he bet against the Cincinnati Reds? Did he bet when he was a player?
Well, let me say this. I think truthfulness is sort of the bedrock of every relationship, so I would tend to agree with you. I think it would be a mistake. I'll say this. I think it would be a mistake for Pete to come in and do anything other than tell me everything and the complete truth with respect to everything.
What's the time frame to talk to him?
I'm not going to get into a specific timetable except to say this to you. Before calendar 2015 comes to a close, I will have met with him and given him a decision.